Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you all so much for being here. Happy Sunday to you. And, okay, let me do this. That's what you call a pregnant pause when it seems like that was a pregnant pause. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Cause I'm ready to learn. Yes, I'm ready to learn to fall in love right now. Oh, there's a who has 9 months membership? Didn't I see that somewhere? Kim Brown, 9 months membership. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being here. All right. All right, so Sonia Johnson was first. Hello, Sonia Johnson. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for clicking on my channel. Uh, oh, wait. Okay, there's that. And there we go. All right, well, I'm not ready to get into that yet. So pretend like you didn't see that. And let me put something else up on the screen. There we go. We'll put Harry up there for now. All right, Sonia Johnson, thank you so much for being first. Gwendolyn Daniels, Don Palacios, yes, and Mary H. Unstoppable Favor, Kids Door, Elaine Parker. Who else? Sonia H. I said no. Mary H. Okay, Mary H. Not Sonia H. Sonia Johnson. Daryl Rowland, Kids Gwendolyn Daniels, Noreen Bagali, Faith one, Faith, yes, and who else do we have here? Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer, happy Sunday to you. Okay, Kathy G, Annette, Annie Bennett. I'm sorry, Annette Bennett. That's the actress. Annie Bennett. That's the squatty. Okay, Miss N, Orlando Morris, and Denise Marcus. Hi, Mad World. Francilia Mosley. Okay, hello everybody else, one and all. I think I'm just going to get into it so you guys can finish up your weekend. I don't want to monopolize your time. Okay, just going to make sure there's no super chats. Uh, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, good. We're all caught up. There we go. Last comment is Connie Balmer and then Lydia. All right. Hey, Lydia Washington. Okay, so back over here. Let's just jump into it, shall we? And there you go. Let the briefing begin. So, I guess there's going to be months and months and months and months and months of briefing about this flipping, and I do mean this flipping coronation. So Charles' coronation will reflect his. Wait a minute, that's King Charles III's coronation will reflect his desire to be the people's king. Refugees, diversity, and volunteering to take center stage during historic 3 day extravaganza, but there will be no place for Prince Harry on Buckingham Palace. See what I mean? We're starting already. Here we go. All right, here we go. There's no room for Prince Harry. British pop and rock legends will perform at King Charles' coronation concert. Dazzling images will be beamed into buildings. I'm sorry, onto buildings across the UK that evening. Okay, so instead of just the typical jumbotrons, they're actually going to use those projectors and beam the images on probably like landmark buildings or anything that's just got a big blank space. Um, well, yeah, I'm trying to think of something that is large and flat and has a lot of surface area. So if somebody wants to beam an image upon it, can you guys think of any place that's large and flat and has a lot of surface area where you could beam something? Anybody? Think of something like massive and flat and large where one could beam an image of, say, a huge concert stage. Now, I have an idea, but I'm sure some of you all have already beat me to it. How about this? There's something that's rather massive and large and fun. Yes, you knew exactly. Oh, this is a good one too. There you go. Yes, there you go. That's a good one too. It needs to be something massive and kind of flat and broad and like a lot of surface area, like a big blank slate. So there's two contenders right there. You have William or Camilla Tomini. Okay, very good. So you guys have been paying attention. Oh man, I don't like to start off messy. I mean, there's other things that we have to get to, but yeah, there you go. All right, so well, as I said, right there you can see Prince Harry, and then down there it says it's unknown if Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will attend the ceremony. But you would think that with that, all right, that's the openers right there, the heading. But then it continues with Harry and Meghan being referenced several more times. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are unlikely to join the rest of the family um, on the balcony of Buckingham Palace if they attend the coronation, sources have said. And then it goes on to say the historic coronation of King Charles III will be, I'm sorry, will champion refugees, diversity, and volunteering, but will likely not see Prince Harry and wife Meghan Markle join the rest of the family on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. It was revealed last night. So that's pretty much the same as sources said. Then it goes on to say Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, along with their children Archie and Lilibet, may also feature. Wait a minute. Now, I thought you said that you don't know if they're coming. You don't know if they, well, you know they're not going to be on the balcony. You, how many times can you put them in and take them back out of this coronation to your satisfaction? Or do we have to see this go on every day until Archie's birthday? And then it continues to say it's not yet known whether Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will attend the King's coronation in the UK. Now, mind you, this is the same article. And then finally, it's not yet confirmed whether the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will return to, etc., etc. Um, do they have Sussex on the brain still? I thought they were not relevant. I thought they were not as influential. And least of all, I didn't think the people of the United Kingdom would be interested. Was that a Freudian slip? Would be as interested to see them. So, for two people that are not welcome, God knows they'd love to keep inserting them into this thing day after day after day. What say you, Mad World? Well, Mad World says so they are trying to sell it, but having free workers, volunteers, and using refugees as well as diversity. But they pushed out Megan. Yes, yes. Which, if you think about it, Megan was definitely an immigrant, right? And she was free labor. And of course, you could also check the box of diversity. So if someone who is at the highest tier of the aristocracy was not welcome or was not made to feel safe, then what say you for the rest of the population of people? Now, this could be like a clever trick to get undocumented people or people who may have entered the United Kingdom by untraditional methods, um, to get them exposed so that they can gather them up and send them off to, where did they send them to? Rwanda? Maybe maybe they'll have a fleet of planes waiting at the airport. Maybe this is just to trick them. Yeah, that's what it is, just to get them to smoke them out, I would imagine. Sheila Watson says, now that Spare is out, I think that Harry and Meghan should just forget about Shutter Island and just enjoy their lives here. Yeah, just watching on television. I mean, that's always the best seat. Plus, I hear tell that there's going to be like a 73-year-old man that may go strutting up the aisle of Westminster Abbey in some stockings and some pedal pushers. So you definitely don't want to see that. The safest place to avoid that is at home. Nuthalando Niandini says, is the coronation of the adulterer really relevant in the lives of the poor taxpayers? Standing on the balcony is really relevant in this day and age. Yeah, it's not like it's going to really feed anyone. And if there is any type of nourishment provided to the huddled masses yearning to stay warm, then most likely it's just for a day. It's like when people take dinners out for Thanksgiving. That's nice that you remember people for Thanksgiving or even Christmas. But what about the rest of the year? What about the rest of the year? Yes, Veronica, they love the flip flop. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's what they should do is just everybody that's protesting ought to wear flip flops that day. That would send a signal. Just make sure everybody's in their flip flops for the coronation. That is the best symbol. Everybody gets a pair of flip flops. I mean, they're not that expensive. They're probably about 50 cents a unit wholesale, if that much. So, yeah, good idea. Good idea. Thank you for that. Okay. Let me go over here. Uh oh. Let's see. All right. Thank you so much, Veronica, for your comment. And I'm going to continue looking here. Mary H says, in other words, if the Sussexes doesn't go, we won't look bad. Yeah, we won't look bad, but people, the deranged will watch to see the Sussexes or how bad we treat them. Yeah, exactly. Just well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to talk about that in a bit. I'm going to talk about that in very soon. Okay. What? Yes, you guys, please hit the like button. There's almost 1,000 people in here. Please hit that like button. Simon Coralita, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right, very good. Black Queen says, oh, that's not for me. All right, I'll move on. All right, so right here, sorry, I know this is a bit jarring, but right here you have King Charles III. He's all decked out in some of those vintage coronation clothes. So much to the relief, and I do mean the world has taken a collective sigh of relief at the fact that Charles is not going to wear the traditional breeches and stockings. He's gonna opt for the military uniform, like you see in the box there. Of course, the queen, she wore the traditional coronation robe. So I suspect he will wear the ermine and such, but he's just not going to wear like the, royal purple, uh, almost looks like a footman's livery, but he's not going to wear any of that stuff. But he will have the orb, and he's going to have the scepter, and he's going to have the crown. Although I think he's going to use a different crown, not that one. In case you guys didn't know, there's actually several of them, and the stones are removable. Um, they interchange a few of the stones as well. So it's hard to believe that years ago, um, like back in the times of the Tudors, and even before that, I think they actually rented the stones from some of the wealthier families. Well, some of the stones were rented, but the crown jewels themselves was mighty po. Sheila Watson says, "Shouldn't that ball be? Shouldn't that ball in his hand be blue, asking for a friend?" It is an orb. It is symbolic of the universe, of the world, and the cross on top is symbolic of the church as the most important thing in the world is religion, a church, and God. So, but I get your point. Thank you so much for that, Sheila Watson. A blue ball. Oh, by the way, there you go. Um, so yes, and then of course the black with the white fur, that is the ermine, which I think comes from the belly of a young stag or something like that. But it's the fur from the belly of a deer or something like that. That is what that is, and it's like the softest, most luxurious part of the pelt. So, all right, and then like I said, I'm relieved that we're not going to see a 73-year-old man who has childbearing hips and droopy shoulders strutting down the aisle of Westminster Abbey. I just don't ever want to see that in my lifetime. Having survived the Vietnam War, 9/11, Ronald Reagan, and Donald Trump, uh, I don't think that. Oh, and also, I have survived a global pandemic. The last thing I want to see is some 73-year-old pensioner who's got his first job strutting down the aisles of Westminster Abbey with those childbearing hips and droopy shoulders, wearing control top pantyhose. Uh, I don't want to see a 73-year-old man in control top pantyhose on his coronation day. Um, Look at those little Debbie snack cake slippers. I can see why he has opted to wear a military uniform. Could you imagine him wearing those little wait, those little Debbie snack cake slippers in 2023? It's hard to say that fast. Snack cake slippers. Yeah, I don't want to see that old man in little Debbie slippers on his coronation day. And of course, to help him out, even if he does wear his military uniform, one of the things that has really been grating on my nerves, he needs some shoulder pads because his shoulders are too droopy. Don't you think? I hate to see any man with droopy shoulders like that. I mean, he looks like he's ready for the birth canal. His shoulders are so droopy. So if he wears the shoulder pads and forego those control top pantyhose and wear his military uniform, I think that'll be a good look for him. Also, I would get rid of those bows on the. I don't know. Maybe the cape is a bit over the top too. You know what I mean? Why come out there looking like Liberace? So, you know what I mean? It's too Liberace. Yeah, so no cape because that's too Liberace. The stolen jewels, I guess we can't really have the coronation without it. And then the control top pantyhose, the control top pantyhose to help with the, you know, ever expanding midsection, and of course them childbearing hips, and and then of course some shoulder pads. So you know, a little more Linda Evans. If he could have a nice pair of shoulders like Linda Evans, then he would look worthy to be a sovereign, right? Let me see. So you're just going to keep crossing over his black velvet ballet slippers. Well, I mean, I thought them to be little Debbie snack cake slippers, but I guess you're right. They are. I guess you're right. They are ballet slippers. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I could almost see him doing the Nutcracker Suite. Oh man! Or of course for him, it wouldn't be sweet. It would probably have to call it the Nutcracker Sour. So yeah, I could see him doing the Nutcracker Sour. Excuse me. So yeah, okay. Point well taken. Thank you, Shelly L, and thank you so much for the super chat. So yeah, so no ballet slippers, no control top pantyhose, no to the Liberace cape, and yeah, and please wear some shoulder pads so that you don't look like you're going through the birth canal. Got it. All right. So that's it. And then a 73-year-old man will have successfully auditioned for his first job. That's how you dress for success. Oh man. Now, um, as I said, they seem to keep making everything about Harry and Meghan. So if you look at this image on your screen right now, do you guys recognize that image? Now, for I don't know how long it was, I recall where they were saying that when the Queen died, that Harry and Meghan, Meghan and Harry and Meghan were on their way to Balmoral. And I think that's Harry and Meghan arriving. And there's the jet with Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan's on their way to Balmoral. And now we're just waiting to see. And for the whole time that that was going on, they never mentioned William or Kate. They didn't mention Charles because I think they assumed he was there, but they could not wait to see Harry and Meghan. But the only thing is, it was William, Ford Fiesta, and what's the Queen's other daughter's name? Edwina. And Edwina, they were the ones on the jet. Now, of course, they snuck out of town and didn't want Harry to join them, but it was just amazing. Do you guys remember that? They were obsessed with Harry and Meghan. And it was almost like they were disappointed that and I'm still trying to figure that out. Why was it so important to them that Harry and Meghan got there first? You think he's got varicose veins too? Oh man. Well, yeah, so they were just so preoccupied with Harry and Meghan being there. It was like it was all that mattered. The Queen could not even die without them making it about Harry and Meghan. That was the most bizarre thing that I think happened that day. Now, you would usually say, well, it was the Queen's transition. That was the most odd thing. No, 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 no. It wasn't so. I mean, the Queen was 96 and in poor health. We knew she was on her way out. What was odd that day is how they went on and on and on for that first hour or so about Harry and Meghan are on their way to Balmoral. No mention of the next in line, because at this point, Charles is likely king. So the next in line, no mention of him. No. Nay, he was not important. It was all about, is King Harry up there yet? I even I think I still have the video of that arrival because I thought I might need it, so I recorded it. So I am more than certain. I mean I'm recalling from that moment how they made the Queen's transition about Harry and Meghan. And I think they're going to do the same thing with Charles' ascension to the throne, or his coronation. I mean, he's already ascended to the throne, but they're making the coronation about Harry and Meghan. That is the craziest thing. But well, we're not surprised because that's what they do. It's got to be Harry and Meghan. God's Child says, "Hi, lovely Baron and Squatties. Charles III will become the head of the church on his coronation as a practicing Christian. It bothers me to no end that his wife has alleged relationships with demonic evil bullies, allegedly." Um, that whole Order of the Garter, and then of course, there's some other secret guilds and organizations that family belongs to, and people have speculated, aside from being inbred reptilian, blah blah blah, that there's a whole lot of other little hocus pocus going on with that family. I I you know I a lot of that symbolism has been in question. I'll just say that a lot of the symbolism surrounding the funeral, among other things, have been in question. Now, what gives me comfort is that Harry was not invited to be a part of the Order of the Garter and any of those other sly secret organizations. Thank God for that, because I'm with you, God's child. It looks a little suspect to me. But thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, I don't want all that hocus pocus stuff around me. And they got too many symbols and secrets and stuff like that. So as you know, guys, I like to keep receipts. Hey, Dorothy Ross, I like to keep receipts. Breaking: Harry and Meghan head to Scotland as Charles, William, and Queen's immediate family gather at bedside in Balmoral after concerned doctors keep her under medical supervision. Remember that? So my time, that was 8:21 a.m., September the 8th, right? And then at 8:22, just a minute later, there was another headline. Um, Queen News Live: Harry and Meghan head to Scotland as William, Charles, and monarch's immediate family go to her bedside in Balmoral amid doctors' concern for her health. I mean, it was all Harry and Meghan all day. Weird, huh? As though Harry was supposed to be the next king. And then, of course, later on, Queen Elizabeth II's death later says Prince Harry leaves, but they were just obsessed with what this young man was doing. Harry leaves Balmoral with King Charles III and Camilla set to return to London as world grieves for beloved monarch. See what I mean? And I kept these. And as we're leading up to the coronation, I'm seeing parallels. And of course, you could say the same thing about that Jubilee or Jubilee, as they say in porcelain. It's the same thing. If they wanted to be successful, it's not enough that a 73-year-old man may show up wearing ballet slippers, controls top pantyhose, pedal pushers, and shoulder pads. It's, it's not enough that all of that is going on. Although I would pay to see that actually. The 73-year-old man in ballet slippers, control top pantyhose, and shoulder pads, and a Liberace cape. But the main attraction, as tempting as all of that is whether or not Harry and Meghan is there. I mean, they packed the house for the Queen's funeral. They packed the house for the Jubilee. So I'm pretty sure if they really want to pack the house for the coronation, they will make sure that Harry and Meghan is there. They are real showstoppers. All they got to do is show up. Now, how they compete with a 73-year-old man in control top pantyhose, ballet slippers, shoulder pads, and a Liberace cape, I'll never know. But they do what they can, right? So even when Harry went to the airport, I mean, y'all know William and Kate is next, right? Why y'all so worried about what Harry's doing? So Harry went back to London, to Windsor to be with Meghan. And then the other thing that frustrated them was the fact that this guy, who, of course, I absolutely adore, CNN. Oh, let me pull that down. I can't see it. CNN snubs the Welleses. A reporter is blasted for using Meghan and Harry's names when then referring to William and Kate as the other two royals during report about Windsor Truce walkabout in the wake of Queen's death. Um, as far as the world is concerned, as far as the tabloids are concerned, even though they'll never admit it, the only people that were really of interest was Harry and Meghan. So he did his job. Scott McLean is a CNN international correspondent based in London and is reporting from the city in the wake of the Queen's death. Okay, he called it like the world saw it, and that is that Harry and Meghan were the most relevant, most influential, and most respected people in all of London. Now, there you have disrespectful, and the comment from the Sussex fan club are ridiculous. They do talk utter, what is that, cobbler? Did she mean gibberish or cobbler? I never heard that before, cobbler. But anyway, you guys, we were talking utter cobbler. How weird is that? That must be some of that ancient English or old English. But then again, there was someone else who said, God bless America, complete with eagles and, and American flags. But yeah, so it's going to be a repeat of that. And I suppose when William's coronation comes up or when Charles makes his transition, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be all Harry and Meghan. So Glow said at the time, one paper, two different versions of a story. Charles ordered the Sussexes and Cambridges joined a walkabout, says one royal reporter. Another says it was William's idea. Either way, who was the star of the show? Who was the star of the show? Who upstaged the one of the longest reigning monarchs in the history of the world at her own funeral? It was Harry and Meghan, and it's not their fault. All they did was show up and be in love with each other, and that just seems to set the world on fire, doesn't it? Oh well. Okay, so That's my receipts from that particular situation. I am going to gather more receipts for the coronation. So when we have to revisit this subject again, I will do just that to prove that nothing else matters except for Harry and Meghan with that family. If it wasn't for Rachel, Meghan Markle joining that royal clan that they have, there people wouldn't have much to talk about otherwise. I mean, it's like when Princess Diana died, the world went to sleep and woke up when Harry and Meghan got married or Harry announced his engagement. Because I'm telling you, most people slept right through whatever Will and Kate did back in 2011. That was a big sleeper. It's amazing how many people just, it was a snooze fest when they got married. And they don't give the proper respect to Megan that she deserves for actually helping to save this institution, because otherwise it would be, um, how would they fill the space? What would they do to fill that space of all the publicity that they're getting because of Megan? What do they do to fill that? I'd like to know. So right here, has the UK gone mad? And this was because people watched the way the Sussexes were mistreated during that entire funeral process, right? The UK is spending millions on the Queen's funeral amid rising hunger. So, what's going to happen is they're going to get attention, and they're going to get attention because most likely, and I hope they don't do it for their sakes, they're going to start all that petty stuff with the Sussexes again. Will he or won't he? Will they or won't they? Will he or won't they? Will they or won't they? um, and you guys, I just thought about something today that made me almost barf. If the Sussexes go to the coronation, you know they are going to do their darndest to get Meghan on camera curtsying to Charles III and his emotional support, Camilla. Are you all ready for that? Because I'm not. They are going to do everything they can to catch her doing a curtsy because, as far as I know, there's only been a curtsy for the Queen and nobody else. So you know that they are going to, you know what? One of the loudest sounds in the history of the world was when the volcano, the eruption of Krakatoa. The second loudest noise in the world is going to be the cameras clicking when Megan does her curtsy for Charles. I pray it doesn't happen. I hope that is not obligatory. I pray that if it does happen, there's no cameras on her. But I have a feeling that that's exactly what. As a matter of fact, he probably would invite her just on the odd chance that that happens. I'm pretty sure when the time comes, if he's like walking down the aisle or something, he is going to stop when he gets to Megan to make sure that they catch. He'll be like, oh God, did they? Camilla, Camilla, I hope they got that on tape. Was it on camera? Camilla, did she curtsy properly? Camilla. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Uh huh. Yeah, I just thought about that today. I'm like, oh Lord, no. The Duchess does a lovely curtsy, but none of them deserve that honor. She should not go if Prince Harry chooses to go. Yeah, because that's all they are going to wait for, and it is going to be front page, front page, front page. I don't know how that crept into my mind, but I was like, oh God, Camilla, Did she curtsy? Did she curtsy properly? Oh, I, my ballet slippers. I should have worn my. Oh, exactly, Baron. I'm not here for that. The Sussexes better not go. I won't be watching. Please, Harry, Meghan and Harry, don't go. Yeah. Oh man. When that crept into my mind, I was just like, "Hey, Big Mama, are you ready for it?" Let's hope Megan do not go to that awful place even. I mean, ever again, rather. Yeah, yeah. Because they are going to be waiting for that. If it's whatever the occasion, they're going to wait for that curtsy. You see how when Megan went to that church service, that was the first official curtsy that the world was able to see. And of course they said, "Oh, she didn't get it right. Um she should have asked Kate how to do it, all that stuff." Oh boy. I'm sorry I thought about it. I'm sorry I mentioned it, but I didn't want to keep that to myself. All right, so right here, just in case you're wondering why all the homeless people vanish when there are big events on around Westminster and Whitehall, well, the police have something to do with that. So that is going to be one of the things that is going to happen with the approach of the coronation. Some people say that they're going to watch the coronation to see if anything crazy bad happens. That's just adding to his numbers. I will not be watching unless the Prince and Princess of Sussex go. Yeah, Michael Miller. Either way, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. But I just, I just hope as if I was them. Well, no, I can't say what I would do if I was them, but if they sat like with the rest of the crowd somewhere, that would be fine. But no need to have them up front and trying to block them with a candlestick and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's just too much pettiness, way too much pettiness. And of course, abolish the monarchy. Now, this is one of the things that's going to be interesting, but they're going to try to do like a blackout. There is going to be a huge amount of protests. I just have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of protests. There was a bit of protest at the funeral. Charles is not popular, whatever they say. So they are going to cut a fool. You hear me? I don't think it's going to be like Paris types of protests, but there's going to be something brewing. I just got that feeling. I tell you what, eggs are going to be few and far in between. And then there's this William to Harry. We need to be team players. Um, Enters the Lurch. Enters Lurch. So this came out around that time um, when they wanted to stress the idea that there is space and distance between them. No, actually, that came out. Wait. What was the date of that? Oh man, I can barely see that. That was January last year. No, that was January 2020. Oh, never mind. I thought that came out then, but I saved it during the funeral for some reason. Never mind. So Andrew Morton was on ABC and spoke of the Queen Elizabeth sister Margaret relationship. He decided Margaret as Elizabeth. I'm sorry. He described Margaret as Elizabeth's wing woman and how sad it is that William lost his wingman in Harry. Margaret smoked 60 cigarettes a day and drank herself to death due to depression. Exactly. So that was the life that they had lined up for Harry, was that he could forever be less than. Harry should always be seen as the yin and yang, the negative one, the the messy one, of course, always the one that is that you would have to worry about, because William is so much better and greater and more superior, and Harry is the one that needs looking out after and the one that you have to sort things out for him. And this has upset the natural order of things. Harry, with this spare, has called out the press, has shown people how he has been mistreated and abused for most of his life. And it has proven embarrassing. It has caused the press to actually go on the defensive, which is rather odd because that almost never happens. But Harry's got the press on the ropes. They are the ones fighting for their survival, because calling them out and pointing out the inconsistencies with the way they treat a story, and in particular the way they have treated him, everything that it's like Trump said. God, I hate to quote Trump, but Trump said he always called the press a liar so that when they would say things about him, nobody would believe him. And so by Harry calling the press out and pointing out that they are liars, then people are actually going to believe him because they tell on themselves. So it's kind of odd that those are very opposite, situations, because Harry is a truth teller and Trump is a liar. But either way, the press was acting, the legitimate mainstream press was exposing the lies in Trump. But here you have Harry exposing the lies from the media. I mean, in the docu series, and now with the book, you have their story in comparison to the headlines and actual events. And so the press has to double down and triple down on their lies to try to make it convincing, but yet they're exposing themselves. So it's actually very brilliant, I think. And also with the Susan Hussey thing, it just goes to show right there that when it comes to the allegations of racism, they were able to shut that down fast and even have her step down, something that almost never happens. But when it came to Megan, she was the accused. When it came to Susan Hutsey, she pretty much gave an admission of guilt, and that was the end of it. But for Megan, she was accused. There was no evidence given. There was no one who ever came forward and put a face to the alleged abuse or victims. And it was just Megan having to try to defend herself from their lies. And that only happened because why? They thought they were going to tell the truth about something and expose them. And ironically, we find out all this time later that them calling her the bully was because William was actually the bully. It's just amazing how this whole thing plays out. And yet, the press, because they're so numerous, because they have so many cards in their deck, they're able to dodge the lies, cover for each other. Like right now, the press is trying to save Jeremy Clarkson by having people sign petitions, or and also by trying to big him up, and to, of course, they have to say that Megan is the one that's the problem, or that Megan should have accepted the apology. And then of course make it about woke people not accepting apology. It's just crazy the way that that's been playing out. But still, as far as I know, he's done with Prime, right? With Amazon, and he's not going back to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And so, what did they do? Did they stop? No, they're just fighting that much harder to try to um, save him and to recoup his reputation. And this is a serial offender when it comes to that type of dog whistle. Serial offender. And they still want to save him. And again, that's just another thing that makes the press look bad. And it's interesting how all of this happened just as the docuseries and the book comes out, and they are doing everything that they can to expose themselves as being the awful, brutal tabloid press that they are. You would think that they would pretend otherwise until everything dies down. They double down on evil. Adrian says, Baron, you just explained every reason why the Sussexes shouldn't go. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I mentioned the funeral is because I see the parallel. I see the parallel. The funeral and the jubbly. First is the build up, and then is the disrespect and assault throughout the entire event. And that's exactly what they have planned. Especially now, they want to do that because right now they're angry. I mean, they are furious because Harry has exposed them. They are absolutely furious. And that's why they were trying to get Megan to come out so that people could stop thinking about that darn book. If we can just get people to not think about that book, that is why they wanted Megan to come out. It wasn't that, and of course, so that they can have someone to compare um, the very mute woman. They need somebody to compare her to. And since Megan hasn't been seen for a while, it is dry. It's kind of fun to watch, but also kind of scary because as evil as they are, you don't want them to ever get too desperate. But this was the start of the funeral was where is Harry and Megan? Where is Harry and Megan? What is Harry and Megan doing? That was strange. And then after that, it just went from bad to worse. And now they want to do it with the coronation. So, yeah, they shouldn't go. They really shouldn't go. They should just stay in Montecito, have a lovely birthday for Archie, not even release his photo for the coronation. I don't even want them to release the photo because that will give them something to talk about. So don't release the photo and, just lay low until it's over with. That would be the best thing. That way, there's no curtsy, there's no mention of Archie's birthday. Um, it'd be interesting for them to mention the birthday if there's no photos and no publicity about it from the Sussexes or anybody else for that matter. Let me see. Shutter Island is a garbage dump. The complicity is just inhumane and immoral. So sorry for the good people who are unfortunate enough to live there. Yeah, well, I'm going to say the working class and the poor and the average person, but for the rich people, I don't really care about them because they are part of that system. But for the working class people, I really feel bad for them. I mean, I really genuinely feel bad because Brexit has been a disaster, and that every nation in Europe has pretty well in Western Europe, every nation has pretty much recovered from
the pre-pandemic or post-pandemic economy except for Britain. That says a lot right there. Everybody else is back but Britain. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, they're deliberately trying to collapse the socialized medicine, the NHS. That's an insult. God's Child says Willie ordered Harry to shave. William did not look good in a beard. I shudder to think what orders Will would give Harry and Meghan if they go to the coronation, or what orders William would have given if Harry and Meghan had not escaped to America. You know, God's Child, I thought about that um, some time ago when I first started the channel. And I used to make that point all the time is that if they stayed, then that means that William would control the purse string for the rest of their lives. William, the evil, menacing sibling, and I used to ask people, if you had a sibling that you didn't get along with, would you feel okay if your sibling was in charge of your financial life for the rest of your life? That was something I gave a lot of thought to, and it never seemed like a safe bet, and it never seemed like it would turn out well. And that was even, I kind of felt that way before they left, and then it felt even worse by the time they left. I was just like, yep, Dodge won that time, because had they stayed, they would have been subject to one of the most petty, ignorant, selfish, cruelest people on 2 feet, and that's William. William, that guy is not wrapped too tight. He is not wrapped too tight, and those facial expressions, as they say, the eyes are the window to the soul. There's something wrong with him. He's the one that needs help. He needs the intervention. That's more than just a little habit of his with the face, and there's something wrong with him. He has a problem, and as Harry said in the book, that scowl that he seems to have with me. Well, it's not just with him, it's in every situation. The man has got a problem. I don't think it's normal for someone to walk around with that demeanor every day. Like nobody's moving fast enough or saying the right thing. Something's wrong with him. Something's terribly wrong. And like Megan said, I'm not surprised. And of course, this is us looking at that from afar. Megan in the same space with that lunatic. What she must have thought. What must she have thought being in that space with William, and the body language, the vibe that he gives off? What must she have thought? Especially in that space with them. I mean, it's just like between the William and Kate, how would you know what was the right thing to say or do? Because both of them are so pensive and pent up and so hostile. How would you know what to say or do? I mean, it's trial and error, isn't it? And they were expecting Megan to show the same deference to them as she did with the Queen. And Harry said it straight from the start: courtesy to my father, courtesy to my grandmother. You're done. And you're done. Period. Harry's a prince, right? Charles was a prince, but his father. And at the time, Camilla was the Princess of Wales, even though she didn't use the title. And of course, Philip was a prince. So the only person that Meghan really should have curtsied to was the queen, period. When you are with your husband, you assume the same rank as your husband. If you are away from your husband, that's the rules. Then you're expected to show deference. But if you're with your husband, then you don't. That is the way I understood it. So there you go. Prince Philip only got the title of prince because he felt bad that his children would outrank him. So the queen gave a letter patent making him a prince. He wasn't a prince because he was a prince of Denmark and Greece. He wasn't a prince when he got married to her. He may have been a prince in his other life, but not married to her. She had to make him a prince within the royal household. Isn't that something? So Meghan really wasn't obliged to curtsy to anybody but the queen. And now they want to get her on record curtsying to Charles. Hope that never happens. Hope that never happens. Okay, so age 18, Prince Harry carries a suit and a bin bag full of belongings as he leaves Eton College on June 12th, 2003. What I love about this is that that same young man who carried a bin liner, a garbage bag, as we say in the U.S., well, he doesn't have to do that anymore. Now he can use, some modern luggage as opposed to care. This is how neglected Harry was. This is how neglected he was. He left Eton with his stuff in garbage bags. This is, excuse me, the same Prince Harry that had holes in his shoes. He left Eton with his stuff in garbage bags. And reading that book, I wish they would have used this photo in the book. I wish they would have used this photo in the docuseries. I hope they use it in the future to demonstrate to people how far he's come from being dropped off at a boarding school 2 weeks after his mama died. How far has he come from that day to the point where now he is a producer in California, as well as a philanthropist with a foundation, as well as the head of the Invictus Games, amongst the other hats that he wears. He's come a long way from carrying his belongings. And what really breaks my heart about that photo? This is a prince of the blood. His family goes back to 1,000 years, and yet they care so little for him that he has his stuff in a plastic bag. That's shocking. That is shocking. And when you hear people call him spoiled and make fun of him because of some of the things that he said about the way he has survived all these years, obviously they just don't want to know what the truth is. And the truth is that the only other place I've seen something like this is for children in foster care. Harry is leaving school just like a child in foster care. There was a guy who himself had gone through foster care, and he started a agency that would give suitcases to children in foster care so that they would not have to go through the indignity that he suffered by carrying his belongings in plastic bags. Let's see here. Is it Nissagate? Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. It's shocking. It really is shocking. And I've had this photo for a little while, and I was kind of hesitant to share it because it's like a gut punch or a punch in the gut. But it also it helps to tell the story. It helps to tell his story. That wouldn't have happened to William. I'm sure it didn't happen to William. I would almost bet my life that William did not leave Eton with his stuff in bin liners. Coming from a family that wealthy, and at best, you're an afterthought. That's shocking. Okay, so here's this. Another spare claims goes up in smoke. A decorated pilot and flying instructor who Prince Harry gushed over in his bombshell, there we go, bombshell memoir says the Duke's recollection of training flights is a complete fantasy. So Prince Harry recalled his instructor stalling the aircraft with no warning, but Sergeant Major Michael Booley said all sorties were thoroughly briefed. It follows a string of doubts over details revealed in Prince Harry's memoir. Now, I did a little looking into this guy. He actually had a problem with the military himself. 400,000 for Harry's flight instructor in Army bullying storm. Compensation paid out for Sergeant Major, who was forced to resign. So he had actually had to resign because he had some problems. And the way that he was forced out, he actually, Reba Henderson, that's a great point. He probably wouldn't have carried this stuff anyway. You're right about that. But yeah, so the way that he left the service, he pretty much was a little old to start a new career, and that he didn't get much notice. And anyway, as you can see, he won the case. So Prince Harry's flight instructor has accused the Army of gross mistreatment after a 4-year dispute that ended his distinguished career. Michael Booley, a former sergeant major, sent an email to MPs yesterday about his plight prior to a parliamentary debate today on the military's alleged failure to deal with complaints of bullying and other forms of abuse. So this guy was very well known among certain people because he trained Harry, and because he trained Harry, that's probably the only reason why this story made the papers. And let me see, that was back in 2009. Okay. So now this was what he posted because apparently the article, where is it? Oh, there it is. That article that ran in the Mirror saying that Harry got some things wrong. And then when they spoke to him, they twisted his words, and he was very, very upset. So it took me a while. Over there on the left side, you can see Michael J. Booley. I wanted to make sure that this was actually him saying this. I have written to the press in comments, and he had to reply to the press in the comments because after they wrote the story, they probably don't pick up the phone. But he said, I have written to the press in comments. I am raging. Please pardon the typo. It should read complex PTSD, not complete, but complex PTSD. they have now blocked my comments too. So when I tried to find his comment in the mirror, I couldn't find it. And at the time, there was about 500 comments a few hours ago. And so all I was trying to do was to verify it before I shared it with you because I didn't want to share something that wasn't true. So I wanted to make sure for certain that, somebody else did not reply for him and that it was his words. And after thoroughly being satisfied, and let's see, someone just said that Omen Scobie tweeted about this guy. So, let me take it back there for you. So this is there it is. Over there on the left side, you can see the very small print, but I made it bigger so that where is it? So you guys could see it. Uh, and it says, I am Michael Booley, Harry's former sergeant major flying instructor, quoted in this article. Out of the blue, I was contacted by the press to be made aware they were writing articles, and as I was named in Harry's book, Spare, I was offered an opportunity to comment on it. I was completely unaware of this as I am not seen in it. I was then provided with an inaccurate version of the book, translated, and in response, I expressed my concerns about any possible detrimental narrative from the onset. From the outset, I later saw the English version and highlighted the differences to the press. I was then assured that if I was offered any comments, they would be reported on accurately. Stupidly and against my better judgment, I proceeded on trust. I made it absolutely clear that Harry was an exceptional student and I had nothing but the utmost respect for him. I highlighted some of the inaccuracies in the book, in particular reference to the flying sorties, but I felt they were probably not Harry's words and highly likely to be dramatized due to the fact that the book was ghostwritten. I did not know that the ghostwriter was, and certainly did not blame him. I once did Not once did I say anything derogatory about Prince Harry, and I certainly never said it was completely fantasy. And that's what the article said, that Harry's book was a complete fantasy. He's saying I didn't use the word complete fantasy. As the article headlines, you would have as the article headline would have you believe, meaning, of course, he did not say complete fantasy. I made it clear to the reporters that I would not approve of anything derogatory, and yet here we are. I also made it clear that I myself am suffering from complex PTSD and I am under treatment for it, and any misquotes or twists could potentially impact my health and well being. I feel let down and betrayed by them. I also feel foolish for or receiving any, let me see, I feel foolish for having listened to their assurance of trust and honesty. I should have known better. I certainly did not ask for or receive any payment. As some above comments suggest, I am very despondent about how this article has been portrayed. So that is his words. That cancel, that was, I just, that shouldn't be there. And the red part is a couple of typos that he had. So I left those in and I just highlighted them in red. But this, could you understand or feel or think or know, could you possibly know how crushed this guy is? He is he is absolutely crushed by the article. The article, it starts with um complete fantasy. And those are not his words. And again, people have got to learn to not give these interviews or share their stories with the tabloids. It didn't take them much effort to misquote him. And now he's absolutely devastated. So the book was a little dramatic. He did not, and having sat next to Harry, having been in a cockpit of an aircraft with Harry, I'm sure he knows the difference between Harry's words and the dramatization from the ghostwriter. So, oh man, when I saw this today, I was devastated. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that this was him, I guess, somewhat recanting what was, or not recanting, but disputing what was shared in the article. But too little, too late. And so the Daily Mail said another spare claim goes up in smoke. The Daily Mirror, the ones who first wrote the story, they were the ones who said that is complete fantasy. And so all of the tabloids all quote complete fantasy. So, as they say, a lie goes around the world faster than the truth can get his pants on. Anfu says, Baron, when anyone stands up for justice in favor of Hero Harry, the fake press do anything and all to change the narrative. The truth always comes out. These fools, fake press, have to stop. They won't even answer his calls. And when he, where is that at? When he went to the comments and there it is. That's why I couldn't find that comment where you see where it's over on the upper left side. I looked for it and I couldn't find it because they removed it. They removed it. Somebody removed his comment. There's 500 comments, and the person who's featured in the article could not comment. So rather than turn off the comments, they just left the other ones and removed his. That's why I wasn't sure. I'm like, well, if I can't find it, I can't even verify that it exists. So then I finally did a little detective work and I found it there on his Facebook page. So he does have a Facebook page. And the poor guy, some of the people, on his Facebook are like, oh, you should have known better. And I'm talking about his friends and his family. Um, you know, I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but he's been to Afghanistan or Iraq himself, so who knows what his state of mind is right now. So, you can't be angry with him because you don't know what he's going through before and, of course, now after this situation. But it's just too bad. And, I don't want to do any blaming or shaming for him, of course, because this type of journalism should not be tolerated. It shouldn't be commonplace. It shouldn't even exist. It should be, telling the story instead of making up a story. So they give him, as I understood it, he was given a Spanish version of the book, and reacting to that, he pointed out what he felt was inconsistencies. And so he didn't have access to the English version, but that didn't matter because they got what they wanted at that point. Among these tabloid rats are evil. I'm sorry. Oh my God, these tabloid rats are evil. Are evil. They are messing with people's mental health, and they don't give a damn. They should be sued or prosecuted. Did you just say rats? Did you just say rats? I think I have a picture of some of those tabloid people. Where is my picture of those tabloid people? There they go. There they are. The royal rodents. Oh man. Is my You know what? No wonder I forgot to turn my humidifier on. I'm like sitting up here suffering. I'm like, why is my throat so dry? Hold on a second, you guys. Okay. That's better. I was wondering why is my throat so dry? Okay. Lips chapped, throat dry. I was going through it for a second there. Hello, Bridget. I'm sorry, it's rather frightening frightening how determined some of these press and the majority of the tabloids are in destroying Meghan and Harry, and they are willing to destroy the lives of anyone associated with them. Isn't that the truth? Anybody associated with them, I literally start clenching my fist because I'm bracing myself for the tabloid attack. If somebody says something nice, I can't just say, oh, they love the Sussexes as much as I do. No, I can't say that. I have to say, dear God, please don't let the tabloids go after them. Please don't let them this, don't let them that. That's my reaction. Anything that's good for the Sussexes, the first thing I do is I start praying for whoever has said or done something nice. Because I'm always thinking about how is it the tabloids are going to try to hurt them. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just bizarre that what would otherwise be a happy and satisfying moment for anybody turns into a very pensive, clenched fist? Your shoulders are up. You have that fight or flight look on your face. We shouldn't have to do that. It should just be, like, oh, that's really nice. I'm glad they got good people in their lives, but you're not allowed to relax. You have to wonder, how is that person going to be injured? What are they going to do to that person's business? Is that person going to be driven to a situation like Carolyn Flack? That's what you have to worry about, because the tabloid press is so malicious. It's a cult. There's the cult of royalists, and then there's the cult of the tabloid press. A bunch of like-minded men and women that do as much damage with a pen as a guided missile. The Pentagon did not have things that can compete with the tabloid press, because what they do is so subversive and so malicious and deliberate that you can barely assess how much danger there is. Where would I put it? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. Where would I put it? Oh man! So Prince Harry's Army Instructor says a story in spare book, complete fantasy. That was the headline in the Mirror. Last night, Mirror published a story where Harry's ex-instructor said he had been too dramatic. Today, Michael J. Booley gave his version, and although trusting
The mirror is a bit silly, but at least Michael wants to fix the mistake. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Um, Again, and that's what it was. It was a mistake. And it took someone with a pretty devious mind to make sure that this started with the Spanish version of the book. Let's not forget that. It started with the Spanish version of the book, and then from there, it just descended into chaos. And that was the point. Yes, you guys, please hit the like button. Please share as well. And also make sure that you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, you really should, especially if you're hate listening right now. Make sure you are subscribed to Royal Sussex. Okay, so that's that. Majority of Scotland wants Prince Andrew stripped of his Inverness title, polls reveal. So I think he's like the Count of Inverness or the Baron or Earl of Inverness. Whatever it is, they want him stripped. They want that removed. That comes from the National, which is, I guess, the leading newspaper up in Scotland. They had a poll, and the poll said, "Strip him of his titles." Well, I I don't really care about that, but if the people of Scotland wants it, then so be it. Um, I doubt if that's going to happen. But then again, because of the precarious situation with the monarchy and Scotland, and of course the idea of Scotland leaving the Union, they may decide to capitulate and strip him of his titles. But for now, I doubt it. Um, I mean, what does the title do anyway? But that was just a poll they took. But maybe they were able to see Prince Andrew's hit musical, Prince Andrew. Apparently, around New Year's, they had the opening of the Prince Andrew, um, the musical. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they actually got wind of that musical and thought, "Oh no, nope, nope." Something about a middle-aged, chubby baby boomer with sweaty hands and sweaty armpits running back and forth across the stage proved to be a bit too offensive, and maybe that's why they decided to do away with his title. I mean, of course, within the musical, there were songs like "If I Were a Sick Old Man," but da 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 da. If I was a sick old man. And of course, who could forget that other hit song from the musical? Mama, can you save me? Mama, can you save me? Oh, man. And of course, the other one, I ain't trouble, I'm your brother. So the songs were good, but it was just the subject that was kind of, tacky. And then of course there was a folk song in the musical. This crime is your crime. This crime is my crime. From Epstein Island to Southern Florida. You guys don't know those songs? I thought you sing along, but no? Okay. What about Don't Epstein on My Parade? No? Don't tell me not to die. He simply has to. If Who told you you're allowed to Epstein on my parade? You guys aren't singing along. Don't you know these songs? Anybody? Come on, don't leave me hanging. How about Don't Cry for Me, Beatrice and Eugenie? The truth is, nobody's seen me. No? Well, okay. Let me see. Show broke. God, I forgot how that song goes. Show broke. Oh, and what is fats? Oh man, I forgot. I wrote these out because I had the songs in my hand. I mean, in my head, and then now I forgot what the song was. Show broke. Oh yeah, instead of showboat, it's show broke. Yeah, so instead of let me see, how did show broke go? Um, let me see. Fish gotta swim and I'm still safe until mommy dies. Can't help. I forgot how that song goes. And fats. Oh, instead of cats is fats. That's what it is. Yeah, instead of cats is fats. Midnight, not a sound from the jail cell. Da 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 da. Epstein is in hell. Oh man. Well, anyway, that's the musical, and they what am I trying to say? Apparently the musical opened up in Venice, and they took exception to it, and so they decided to strip him of his titles. Don't cry for me, Beatrice and Eugenie. The truth is, nobody saw me on Epstein Island or in his townhouse. I went for pizza, not even a mouse. Oh man. Okay, okay. Anyway, but yeah, he's a sick old man, and they want to strip him of his titles. But I can think of at least one person in Scotland for sure who voted to strip him of his titles, and of course that's the young man who said, "Andrew, you're a sick old man." Now he wants him stripped of his titles for sure. And then, of course, there is this little situation. Well, as things go, if for some reason William decide to trade in his current wife for a newer model, a different model, I don't know if she's younger, but a different model. I mean, there's already been a guide, and of course, that's Prince Charles' Guides to Ever Love and Happiness. All you have to do is divorce the first wife, and of course, you just go to the next wife, which is what Charles did. So Charles got rid of the first one, and he got this one. And of course, William may do the same thing too. I mean, they seem to go together like a hand to glove, don't they? I mean, there they are carving their names in a tree. And of course, there they are posing for a portrait together. Let me show you the full portrait. See what I mean? So there they are, posing for a portrait together. And then, of course, just in case something happens to Charles and they have to go for another walkabout, at least she knows how to stay by his side, right? Right. So that'll work out. And then, of course, look at what happens when you catch a reflection of yourself in the plate glass window. Well, that's what happened to the consort. She was riding along with Charles, and suddenly she glanced over and caught a glimpse of herself in a plate glass window. And what do you know? What was looking back at her? A silky chicken. So I guess it just goes to show you should be careful when you're the queen consort, because if you take a glance over to the window, you might find a silky chicken looking back at you. Today it's the silky chicken. Tomorrow it could be National Velvet. Today it's the silky chicken. Tomorrow it could be Old Yeller. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to go looking back at you when you stare into those plate glass windows. So, whether it's a silky chicken, National Velvet, or Old Yeller, or even Rin Tin Tin. But I mean, it caught her off guard so bad she put her hand up because she thought a buffalo was charging her or something. But no, it wasn't any wild beast charging. It was just a plate glass window. Let's see here. Does anyone think that Baldy has a trust for that person's young people that she had after him trimming the rose bushes? Charles did for Camilla's kid. Well, if any of those alleged things have happened, I'm sure that there have been some provisions forthwith to make sure that they are kept in comfort. You know, in the old days, they used to give out a dukedom for the children of a sovereign. They would give them titles. A lot of those dukedoms came from, you know, being sired by the sire. Anyway, thank you so much, Legs, for the super chat. And thank you so much for being here. Okay, and let me see, what else do we have? So, I'm gonna try to start my French lessons book that someone sent me. It's a visual dictionary, so I don't know how conversational it is, but it does have an audio that I can connect to the book, and so eventually maybe my French will improve. I hope so. I'm still working on my English, but I can try to do something with my French. Like Pep, I want to be as smooth as Pepe Le Pew. That's right. I want to be as smooth as Pepe Le Pew. I am gonna I'm gonna try to you know try to channel Pepe Le Pew with my French. And remember, God didn't add another date in your life because you need it. He gave it because someone else needs you. And don't forget that. All right? Someone out there needs you. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we're somewhere out there, out where dreams come true. I love that song. I love Linda Ronstadt. I miss Linda Ronstadt. She doesn't sing anymore, but I always thought Linda Ronstadt had the most beautiful voice, so clear, right? So clear, like a fine wine. Okay, so anyway, that's it for today. Oh, one more thing. The royal family won't condemn the op-ed about abusing Meghan Markle. So, um, yes, that's true. They have yet to condemn that. So, I, as far as that family is concerned, and after reading the Spare, I have to look at them with the side eye because, especially Camilla, we have learned more about Camilla. She's even more devious than we could have ever known. And someone made this thumbnail. This was a thumbnail. And you know I love thumbnail art. So this thumbnail, I didn't watch the video. I just took the thumbnail because I thought it was funny. Because when I looked at Camilla, you know what the first thing I thought, right? Anybody know what I thought of when I looked at Camilla? With all of that lipstick on her face? It brought to mind that would you call it an analogy
or that old saying. Go ahead and try to see if you could figure it out. Well, a horse with lipstick? Not quite. I was thinking about a farm animal, but okay. One of the squatties posted this a couple weeks ago. Uh, and as you know, when I see something funny, I have to grab it and save it to make sure, just in case I need it. And so I decided, since I'm kind of feeling that way, why not marry that thumbnail with this photo? Next, you're going to see them flying. And with that, folks, I am so done for today. Thank you so much. We are going to get out of here early, just the same. I do believe that there is a new Ivy video, and I'm going to see if I can grab that for you guys. Is Sherry here today? Do I have a list? Let me see if I got a list from Sherry. Let me grab Ivy's video first. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy here. I love saying that. Hello, Ivy here. Okay. Did that work? Let me see. Oh, there it is. All right, so I'm gonna pin that to the top of the chat so you guys can go over and catch Ivy's latest video. And then I will be looking for the last word of the day. You guys, I have been up since about 5 o'clock this morning. That was a big mistake. Y'all know I never get up that early, and I'm starting to feel it now. I got the feeling. Huh. Baby, I got the feeling. Huh. Baby, I got the feeling. Oh, so no Sherry Ware today, huh? Okay, so I don't have a list, I suppose. Well, anyway, thank you very much for your contributions. I hope I didn't miss any. And thank you for your super chats. And thank you, someone who had 9 months membership to Royal Sussex. Shelly L says on the way out, you are sure about Peppy because I would have arrested his stinky behind for stalking. And yes, nowadays Pepe Le Pew would actually be subject to the Me Too movement, wouldn't he? Pepe is a philanderer. Yeah, Pepe would have what's her name? What's that lawyer that always go after people? You know, when you see her, you're in trouble. Pepe Le Pew would have her on television at a news conference. Gosh, what is that lawyer's name? Oh, I can't think of her name. Gloria Aldrich. That's right, Gloria Aldrich. Gloria Aldrich would probably be after Pepe Le Pew. So, I mean, Gloria would have him so broke he wouldn't even be able to afford to pay attention. He'd be too broke to pay attention. So, yeah, you're right about Pepe. Mon chéri. Oh, mon chéri. Pepe Le Pew. Let's go to the Casbah together. And Pepe Le Pew is here for you. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. And the last word of the day is... Oh, is Special K coming on today? Is Special K coming on? I didn't see that pop up. Let me see. I did not see Special K. Oh man, I don't see a thing for Special K. I hope I didn't unsubscribe. But yeah, if Special K is coming up,
Well, I mean, she usually comes on at about 7 o'clock my time, so I could take a nap. Yeah, I didn't see a Special K. What's Special K? Special K's channel is, I forgot the name of it, but it's another channel, and she usually comes on once a week, but she is out of sight. So good. I mean, that last one she had me like energized. It renewed my commitment as well as I laughed, I cried. It was very good. She took you all over the place and back. So we're lucky to have so many great content creators. We really are. So, su ma vie d'etrayonto. Oh man, I forgot the words. I love that song. Su ma vie, blah 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 da da da, blah, da, blah. That's like my favorite French song. Su ma vie. Oh, Duchess of Advocacy. That's right. I can never remember that when I need to. I will pin that to the top of the chat. So that's some more homework for you guys. The Duchess of Advocacy. There we go. Such a great channel. So if you guys feel like listening to uh, Duchess of Advocacy, you can go over there and catch that last show. I guarantee you, you will get your life. You will get your life. Okay. Great memory. Okay. All right. So that's our last word for the day. Have a blessed weekend. Blessed week, everyone. Peace. Uh, yeah, and peace. Okay. That's good. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah, actually, we talked about that yesterday, but my theory is that they want people to stop talking about the book. I think there's two things. They want Megan to come out so that, let me see if I can find that from yesterday. Like, hold on. They want her to come out so that they can get people to stop looking and thinking and talking about Harry's book. That's all. I don't think it gets any more interesting than that. They just don't want people talking about that book. So they want Megan to come out. But Megan, as I said yesterday, is probably at home uh, supervising the construction of a trophy case because they have so many honors and acknowledgments coming down the pike, especially Harry's Grammy. They need to have a nice little spotlight so they can light up the Grammy that Harry is going to win for his spoken word in association with Spare. So that will be a Grammy Award winning book, Spare. Thank you so much, Madam Curiosity, for these new membership, which is still a bargain at just $4.99. And if you guys acquire a membership, remember those memberships come complete with the use of the stickers that you see some people using in the comments or in the chat. So if you want access to those really cool, hip, funky stickers, all you have to do is get that membership for just $4.99 while supplies last. Shipping and handling not available. Order today. And if you order now, you still get the same value, but at least you can have it sooner rather than later. As seen on TV. Yes. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Let me see here. And of course, we always say cheers to our beautiful queens for making the Sussex as possible, Queen Doria and Queen Diana. And let's see. All right, I think we're good. Yeah, it's Sonya. They want to change the subject. They want to change the subject. Can we talk about anything but the book? Anything but the book. They don't want to talk about that book, that highly successful book. Yeah, Harry did a fantastic job, and they don't want to acknowledge that. Just the same as they didn't, they chose not to acknowledge the Invictus Games. They'd rather ignore the Invictus Games, or they would rather look at a 73-year-old man strutting down the aisles of Westminster Abbey with his ballet slippers, his controlled top pantyhose, shoulder pads, and his Liberace cape. They'd rather look at that. That's what they want to see instead of Prince Harry. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. As you can see, I haven't given this much thought. Deirdre Mikey, where you been? We're about to leave, but thanks for being here. Let me see, who else? The tabloids have one objective: to turn the public against Harry and Meghan. Period. Yeah, that seems to be it. I'm telling you, it's like some kind of cult. Thank you so much, Luli. Thank you so much. Peace and goodness, all Baron. Thank you. All right, you guys. Definitely will not watch Coronation. I understand. I'm going to watch it, but that's because I have to. It's work for me. Plus, I have to see who I'm going to make fun of. I have to see who I'm going to make fun of. I mean, what if I'm like watching and then all of a sudden somebody what do you call it? What if somebody like starts wringing somebody's neck and pistol whipping them with a toy gun, or sticking a little hand in their mommy's mouth? I don't want to miss that. I mean, it was cute the first time. It's going to be hilarious this next time. Okay. Did y'all watch Lisa Marie's Presley's funeral? I caught a glimpse of it. I didn't watch much of it. There was some long-winded speaker. It seemed like he was just going on and on. I don't know what he had to talk about all that time. You wouldn't catch me talking for like 3 straight hours. 4 or 5, but not 3. Oh man. Oh, I sure will. I sure will. And I tell you, if I see any controlled top pantyhose, you all are going to be the first to know it. If I suspect that the new monarch is wearing a controlled top, you guys will be the first to hear about it. Okay, I think we're good then. All right, you guys, thank you so much. A few more truth bombs, right? A few more of those truth bombs. Yeah, they should have left him alone. I think Harry has given them what they call a gestation period so that they can assess the situation and realize exactly how bad off they're going to be if they do not reach an understanding. And I hope they will. So, all right, I am going to Ginger Avenger us out of here. Or let me see, maybe I'll do that video from yesterday I used. If I can find it. If I can find it. If I could turn back time. If I could find the way. Now take back the words that hurt you. And you stay. All right. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of that video. Let's see. Oh, here it is. All right, so I'll play out with this one, you guys. Wait. Okay, wait for it. And I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to have to take me a nap. I got up too early. What was I thinking? I couldn't go back to sleep. Now I can.
Knitting together Boris Johnson's despicable comments about flag-waving pickaninnies, but also understanding when the Antigua and Barbuda reparations...
Nope, that's not the one. That is not the one. Let me see. Although he goes there with that one too. Is this it? Okay. Yep, I found it. It wasn't to do with Boris Johnson. That would be dreadful. Here we go.
Here's what I think is happening, right? If I say Royal Military Service to you, then partly depending upon your age, but generally speaking, the first person you would think of is Prince Harry. You would recall, for example, that footage of him when he was being interviewed on telly and an alarm went off, I think at Camp Bastion in Afghanistan, and he tore off the microphone and legged it. Made me go weak at the knees. It was quite a beautiful moment, actually. And again, I don't want to have a big conversation about militarism or indeed Afghanistan in particular, which is in the news for very different reasons today. But if and again, if you've served, you can set me straight on this. But he, to me, seemed like a proper soldier. All right. And he was in the thick of it. He wasn't at arm's length. I think Prince Andrew's service in the Falklands as a helicopter pilot was the real deal, actually. But he didn't rise to admiral through his quality of military service. Poor old Prince Edward had a crack at joining the Royal Marines. Didn't work out very well for him. I don't think Princess Anne did anything, and Prince William drove... essentially flew search and rescue helicopters in Wales, albeit under the auspices of the RAF. So I say military service to you in April 2021. Royal Military Service, who do you think of first? Yeah, exactly. It's Prince Harry, right? So how ridiculous would it have looked if he was the only one there not in a uniform? I want to dress up as an admiral, Mummy, said Prince Andrew. Oh, Andrew, please sit down, said Her Majesty the Queen. I am as qualified to speculate upon that conversation having occurred as any of the people who will be getting paid a few quid to pop up on your telly this weekend and share their royal expert insights. That's why it's happened. Because the Queen has surveyed, in her wisdom, this strange state of affairs, and she has concluded that it would just look daft for the only member of the royal family that people automatically associate with the army to be the only member of the royal family not in a military uniform at Prince Philip's funeral.
Okay, guess what? That wasn't it either. That wasn't the one. I cannot find it. Let me see. Is this it?
Rescue helicopter.
Nope. Gosh, I just played that video. I got like, oh man. Well, you guys, some of you all who've been on the channel for a while know I got a bunch of videos. But let me see if I can find it. I got to do something about this labeling. I think that's what the problem is. I got so much stuff. Is this it?
Knitting together. However, you speak to my cousin, I don't see how any of this can be sustained.
No, that's not it. Okay, look who just kicked themselves out of the chat. Look who's just kicked themselves out of the chat. But no, I want to find the one that I had yesterday. So hang on, you guys. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. And you know, once I start looking for something, I don't give up. Well, I'm gonna have to give up because I don't see it. I don't see it. All right. It's been one then. Sorry, folks. Is there anything else y'all want me to play before I go? I will do it, but otherwise, man, I wanted to see that one. I wanted to see it myself. Let me see. Oh, wait. I got it. I got it. You know what? I just found it. Never mind. I found it. Got it.
Here's what I think is happening, right? If I say Royal Military Service to you, then partly depending upon your age, but generally speaking, the first person you would think of is Prince Harry. You would recall, for example, that footage of him when he was being interviewed on telly and an alarm went off, I think at Camp Bastion in Afghanistan, and he tore off the microphone and legged it. It made me go weak at the knees. It was quite a beautiful moment, actually.
You know, a lot of people may have their own reasons to kind of cringe when they see the Cambridges coming. Some of which has a lot to do with our recent history with the Cambridges, that is, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And then other reasons may be more historical, like, for instance, colonialism. The idea that the British royal family can be looked upon favorably by so many Commonwealth countries, also known as the former colonies. That is very much due to a lot of public relations. Their PR campaign to bring in this like global group of nations to create something that is a remnant of colonialism without people associating it with colonialism. Well, one person who may have made that association, or maybe she hasn't, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but Priyanka Chopra Jonas, she knows what the history is, and she knows where she comes from. And when you consider the history of the British Empire, not the United Kingdom, not a Commonwealth, but the British Empire in the former colonies, now the Commonwealth.
Okay, let me just get to the fun part. Let me get to the fun part. Okay, is this it? Okay, I think this is it.
I guess a crowd of admirers. You have new supporters and you have new fans. I'm a fan. All it took was just adjusting your scarf. I mean, who knew you could just adjust your scarf and you're trending all day for just adjusting your scarf? Because that's all it was. It's not like you took it off and polished his head with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was enough of a glare while you're trying to watch the tennis match anyway. So, I had to get kind of messy toward the end, right? It's like dessert, how you finish a good meal. And
that was that day that Priyanka, when instead of like greeting Will and Kate, she looked the other way and just decided to adjust her scarf. That was epic. That was epic. And
I tell you, you have a whole new, I guess, crowd of admirers.
I'm a fan now. When she turned her head and adjusted her scarf, I instantly became a Priyanka Chopra fan.
Adjusting your scarf. I mean, who knew you could just adjust your scarf and you're trending all day?
I love her.
For just adjusting your scarf. Because that's all it was.
She's like, what about this scarf?
He took it off and polished his head with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was enough of a glare.
Right?
While you're trying to watch the tennis match anyway. So, I had to get kind of messy toward
the end. Billie Jean King, everybody ignored them. Well, they were late and they were holding up the tennis match for them. They couldn't play or start or whatever until they got there. So people were already kind of ticked with them anyway. And Priyanka Chopra, she's just like, I don't see anybody. Okay, so Trenchtown, and then we are good. Where is Trenchtown, man? Someone asked for Trenchtown. Hey, Prince.
Yes, Prince. Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
All right, you guys. Blessings to all. Love you and see you tomorrow.